Yo, brother, it's time for us to start talking the real, man. We've been sugarcoating too much. We've got to start calling everything out for what it is.
Hey guys, wow, I can't believe I'm standing next to my personal copy of the S22. Now this wheel is not new to me in that I had the opportunity to do some good mountain riding with this wheel when the EVs guys were out doing their tour of the Western United States with this wheel. Thanks again, Lucas and Bradley, for letting me ride your wheel at the time. I bought my personal copy in October, so it's been 10 months since I wrote that check and I have the wheel in front of me. It's been a long journey. Now, in between then and now, I have bought the Master and I've been riding that, which I love that wheel. And so my enthusiasm for this wheel was a bit subdued until I got my personal copy. And I've had the opportunity to be riding it now for a while. And I gotta tell you, it's a nice wheel, guys. It's a nice wheel. And I'm going to be putting out a video where I'll talk about, give you my perspective on the differences between this and the Master and which one you might want to aim for. Unfortunately, there is no perfect wheel. There is no perfect suspension wheel, and there's no perfect high-performance suspension wheel. And I put this in the Master in that high-performance category. So it's best if you can afford it just to own both of them. But anyway, today what I'm going to be talking about are the pads. Now, as you can see, I've mounted the stock pads. I really like these pads. I like the look of them, and so that's why I want to keep them. But they do have some deficiencies, and that's what I hope to correct today. These pads are certainly comfortable, but there's two deficiencies that I see for myself. One is this bottom part here, that if you want to use this wheel to be jumping, I'm not talking about Mike Leahy type jumps, I'm just talking for myself. I'm talking about being able to jump over rocks or tree roots, stuff like that. For me and my shoes, there's too much of a gap here. But I'm not going to address that part today. What I'm going to be addressing is the power pad function. Whereas you want to lean against these pads to get some power for faster acceleration, or if you're climbing up a steep hill. And for me, when I'm standing comfortably on this wheel riding it, there's a fair gap between my shin and this part of the pad. When I'm riding, my knees are slightly bent comfortably like this. And with the stock pads on the S22, if I want to make use of that power pad function, I have to go like this and then lean like that to get contact with my shin and those pads. That is not ideal at all. What I want to be able to do is be riding like this, and if I need to make use of those pads, just slightly lean forward and I have contact, and then I can lean a little bit and get that additional power. I'm going to fabricate my pad extension out of this kneeling pad foam. This is a very firm EVA foam, and you can buy these all over the place. Certainly on Amazon. If you're in the United States and you happen to have a Harbor Freight store near you, buy them there. They're about $8. Cheapest I've found these any place. As you can see, I've already been using this for other purposes. Now I'm going to prototype this first because it's a little tricky to get the fit on your first go around. And I'm going to be using this foam block. It's this foam insulation that you can buy at your local home center. This is about 1.5 inches thick. You can buy 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2 inch thick foam. this is 1 3/4, so they're very, very close. So this would be good prototype material. Again, you can buy a 4 foot by 8 foot section piece of this for about $20, very cheap. And I think you can buy, they'll sell smaller sections of this too. And so I'm going to make the pads out of this. I might have to iterate a few times to get the perfect fit. And once I'm happy with that, and then I can fabricate the final copy out of this material. Now, this is not going to be a how-to video, because if I did that, I would have to limit myself to the tools that I think you have. And I have a lot of tools, and I don't want to limit myself. So think of this as more of an inspirational video to perhaps give you ideas on how you might want to modify your stock pads. I'm going to use this tool to capture the profile of the foam that my foam extension will attach to. I cut 2 of these blocks of foam to what I think will be the rough dimensions. And now I'm going to transfer. Now this is not exact, but you know, there's a lot of give here involved since it's foam. You don't have to be super precise. If you happen to have a bandsaw, it is a perfect tool for cutting foam. Okay, this is going to be fitting about like this. And off camera, I've stood on the pedal and just to get a sense, I think I'm going to take off about 1/2 inch here and about 1 inch on the bottom. So I'll cut that now on the bandsaw. And the final bit of profile cutting I'll do is just to trim off this section. Pretty happy with this fit. Matches the curve here fairly closely. Now when I actually fabricate this out of the foam, you can use sandpaper, coarse grit sandpaper, to smooth the foam so it to fair the curves and to get it matching a little closer. But this will be good enough for testing. So let me put some double-sided tape on this stick it on here and see how it rides. Okay, in the neutral stance, feels pretty good. They're not really touching, but very slight lean, and shins are touching those pad extensions. So, pretty good. I might have to take a little bit off, we'll see. Before I take it outside to just ride it a little bit, I'm going to put my knee guards on, because that's going to add some additional padding here, which might get in the way. Okay, my knee guards turned out really don't get much in the way, as this is hitting towards the bottom. So let's give this a shot. Feels good. Again, not really touching in the neutral stance, but a little bit maybe. I think I'm probably going to take off. I think I'll take off about 1/2 inch from the foam, because yeah, I don't want my shins to be touching that, mostly when I'm riding in the neutral stance. And then when I'm mounting, like right now, this is hitting, so it feels a little constrained for mounting purposes. Feels like it gets a little bit in the way. So it's a success. I'll take half an inch off and try it again. Okay, let's try these modified ones now. I think that's much better. I don't feel like they're in the way of mounting now, and they're definitely not. I don't feel them at all now, just as riding, but slight movement and nice acceleration. I think this is perfect. Yes. Great. So I now can quickly fabricate the real ones, and then I will show you how I'm going to mount them. I'm going to be attaching these pads to the existing pad with very strong indoor-outdoor carpet tape. But before I can do that, because tapes don't generally stick to this rubber very well, so you have to prepare the surface. And I will do that by using acetone. I'll wipe these surfaces really thorough with acetone, and this part I put tape here to limit the area that I'm going to put the acetone, because this will actually remove a top layer of the foam and make it so that tape will adhere to it. So it's not going to melt the foam, but it essentially will make this foam look dull. So you obviously wouldn't want to do this if you care about your pads for, I don't know, resale value or something. But that's what I'm going to do. Now I can tell you this is sticking really well to this existing KingSong pad. It's not going to go anywhere. There you have it, guys. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's not going to go anywhere. I like how it fits the existing pads fairly well. You could go crazy in trying to really get this molded even better, but I think this is as far as I want to take it. So of course you can seek more perfection or less perfection. But the key, I think, is if you want to use these as power pads, do what I did, experiment a little bit, and build these out some so you don't have to lean so far forward to get some power into this wheel. All right, guys, hope you found this useful, and until next time, safe riding.